Well, the Democrats and the Congressional Caucus are on C-SPAN right now having a press conference about Russians hacking the election and that they have all this proof, which they don't have, and the fact that Flynn has resigned just shows that the Ruskies took America over. So see, Mr. President, whoever advised you to just go ahead and give the neocons a sacrificial lamb and get rid of somebody that actually had really good, policy ideas to not open our borders to Islam, radical Islam, you're going to notice now that that put blood in the water for the sharks. And I know President Trump's smart, but that's a fact. But you see, they have publications where the establishment is actually very, 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 very honest about what they're doing and what they stand for. And Paul Watson has written about this today at Infowars.com. I got up at 3:30 in the morning and was already reading this article out of just tens of thousands that are out there. And then hours later saw that Paul had written about it. That's how synced we get. Russian insiders fear Washington establishment will assassinate Trump. It's one of the top links on Drudge. It's our article. Of course, media calls us fake news. All we do is link to the Council on Foreign Relations Connected Foreign Policy report put out by the Washington Post. And I say that because it's like a copy journal. I mean, they admit they overlap with Foreign Affairs, the bi-monthly little book that comes out on newsstands that's put out by the Council on Foreign Relations. Talk about infiltrated. That was set up by British intelligence publicly, OSS, in 1922 in New York, to openly, through the Atlantic Society, merge the United States and England. That's why the first big Hollywood movies, everybody talked with a British accent, even if they weren't British. That was, I mean, they were trying to, quote, make us Anglophiles. And suddenly the Queen was in newspapers and on the radio, and the cool thing to do was drink out of teacups that had the Queen on it. You ever wondered how America, was against royalty and all this, suddenly worshipped it? It was the rollout of silent movies and then movies and musicals and newspapers, and British intelligence bankrolled Hollywood. There's books written on that. That's not a secret. And made us worship the British government again. I just love how we're infiltrated by Russians. I mean, the Russians will fight you in brute force at a war and it'll fight hard, but nobody's more weaselly than British intelligence. And we're up to our eyeballs and all that right now. Luckily, there's some better people getting in the UK. And so they're trying to bring in nationalism and prosperity and not total surrender to Islam. The same thing's happening in Europe. Sanity's coming back. And, of course, it's been in the London Independent, it's been even in the BBC that's tried to cover it up before, that major pedophile rings, quote, run the UK. And that it's a national security crisis. That's a headline. And then what do we have at the Vatican? How was the Vatican brought down and taken over by the globalists completely? The Black Pope, the Jesuit general, who's now in control. And now the Vatican's openly anti-Christian. I mean, it's literally a pentagram. It's upside down. It's an upside-down cross. Pope Francis is an upside-down cross. That's what he embodies. He's an absolute on-fire demon. You can just look at him, not much less what he does. Most satanic creature I've ever seen. Talk about Dracula, he's it. And they overthrew what was left of the Catholic Church with their pedophile rings. You notice now the entire Catholic war that's going on and the entire Catholic world is actually battling right now Pope Francis, because he's such an abomination when he says stuff in official Catholic papers like, it disgusts me to see Europe saying it's Christian and has Christian roots. It disgusts you? Notice that Athens just allowed the first mosque in hundreds of years. You know why? Greeks used to be blonde-haired and blue-eyed, folks. So did Romans. Do you know why Greeks now have black hair? And you know why they have Muslim features or Islamic features or Arabic features, I should say? You know why? I could go further about anatomy. Greek statues, Greek paintings look nothing like Greeks today. Unless you see somebody that somehow kept their Greek lineage. It looks like Milo, a tall guy with blonde hair and blue eyes. because the Muslims came in and put hundreds of thousands of the sword and forcibly raped basically everybody, and the only Greeks to survive hid in the mountains for hundreds of years and finally repelled them. But now, come on in, baby. Some Greek islands now, there's hundreds of them, have over 300,000 Muslims on them alone. Greece is gone again. And they just ran the white flag up to build a big, fat, juicy mosque. And then we're just told that we should just totally, and here's the deal. If it was a bunch of brown-skinned people coming in that wanted to be Greek, I don't care what color they are. The point is, Greeks aren't Greeks because they got overrun by the Muslims, just like Constantinople used to be its name. It's now called Istanbul. And the big, beautiful blue mosque, the marvel of Islamic architecture, was built by Christians and was the Holy Roman Empire until it was sacked by the Muslims when Rome finally fell completely. Not Rome that fell to Alaric in 410, the Visigoth chieftain, but the other Rome. But see, again, I am cursed with history, cursed with knowledge, cursed with the facts. I can't just be like Sarah Silverman and see what everybody knows is power pole markings on the ground where they explain where the cables are, what type they are. They've got little handbooks. It's universal. Whether a line's live, whether it's not, how far apart they are. They go mark it, the engineers do, for people that are going to go dig it up. And if they mess up, it turns the power off in the neighborhood or bust a water main. You know that stuff? No, it's a swastika, see? Because she knows how to see swastikas. It's called being a basket case artificial schizophrenic. It's crazy. People from California that moved to Texas, they think country music itself is racist. I've had them tell me, oh my God, you shouldn't have a big Ford pickup truck. And oh my gosh, I can't believe how many of them there are around here. After a woman walked in front of my car in a parking lot, I stopped and waved her by, and she turned and said, F you to me. And I rolled up my window. I said, what's your problem? She said, oh, look at you with your big old truck, and you're Mr. Tough Guy. And I went, ma'am, what are you talking about? And then there was a couple guys lined up. There was a hamburger place right there. I was driving, and they were walking up to the window, and they were like, yeah, it's kind of hard to deal with these people, but you get used to these Texans. And I just looked at all these shrunken sacks of dehumanized garbage, all into how they were weak and ugly. It was all races and colors, just all looked like they had their souls sucked out of them. They were literally just like, look at your big truck. What they really meant was, look at your big neck. Look at your eyes. They had fire in them. Oh, look at you. Look at you. You just swam 2 miles in Barton Springs. You're alive. And again, they want death. They've given over to death. They hate it. They want to be weak. They want to be pathetic. They want to be fallen. Look, I'm not going to sit here and say, see, I told you so, that communist Chinese-style net censorship was coming to the web, because it's already here. It's being announced. The way you keep the internet open and free is you get involved more than ever. Go to Infowars.com/app. A new battleship in the fight. Infowars Live, available right now. We're looking for a crew to man it. You gonna sit down and play games and be a trendy? Or are you gonna be part of history? Don't sit by and let the internet and free speech be stolen from you. Take action.